Bueno, os presento...
Now I will introduce the two big keynoters and speakers, but one of them is not very experienced, but the other one is about to deliver his best presentation. José Luis and Víctor, they will talk about secure communication systems with some little surprises in between. So I'll let them introduce themselves to us. Please, how do you feel more comfortable on stage?
¿Qué tal ahí? Bien. Hola, ¿sí? ¿Se ve ya?
Are we ready? We're starting. Good morning, everyone. Before introducing my stuff, I want to thank you all, especially I want to thank the Rooted organization for having us here. We have devoted a lot of time in the presentation preparation. We're going to talk about secure communication systems through voice. Before anything said, my name is José Luis Verdeguer. I'm coming from Alicante. Last year, I had the great chance of delivering another talk. I'm a computer systems engineer from the University of Alicante and has a master's in application development and web services. And I'm the author of Hacking VoIP IP and Security, and is currently assistance manager in Zoom Suite VoIP Operator. Hello, everybody. My name is Víctor Seva. I'm a software engineer in the Austrian Swiftwise company. And I'm dedicated to the design and development of the VoIP solutions. Chameleon is not Asterix, it's a proxy Seva. I'm a software engineer in, like I said, in Swiftwise, an Austrian-based company, and thank God I got the Chameleon award last year. What is my talk about? I'm going to talk about wire taping. I'm going to talk about spinach systems. I'm going to analyze and delve into several solutions in the market. And also, I'm going to put forward some proposals to all of you. Regarding phone wiretapping has existed for ages. No matter how our efforts are to avoid it, they will exist. Users can monitorize our phones, but governments, after they feel the need to control the more information as possible. The term we use for this kind of phone wiretapping is eavesdropping in English, eavesdropping. Nowadays, there are some platforms devoted to monitorize all the traffic circulating through some segments in the network, and they can apply techniques to filter out the contents. Evidently, this is not only applied to conversations on voice, it's also applied to instant messaging and emails. We're going to focus on the voice, which is the main topic for this talk. If we date back to some years ago with analogical telephone systems, there existed several mechanisms to spin systems to wiretapping phones. For instance, implantation of mics or microphones in the handsets. The technical term wiretapping is currently used. This comes from the times of the analogical phones when, typically speaking, the cable, the wire was connected and taped. Nowadays, with wireless handsets, it's as easy as synchronize the frequency in their emitting. People from my age would have used this term as useful. When you hang up the phone, you can listen to the neighbor's conversation, even though with the very same wire phones, there was switchboarding crossings, and we can intervene and listen to far distance calls. This happened with analogical phone systems. with the eruption of mobile cell phones, it happens the same. In Spain, Moviline, and to intercept a call, you only need a walkie-talkie or a transmitter, a radio station, and sometimes with some wireless phones, as seen before, we could disassemble, dismount them, and decode the frequency, and to get the phone mobile calls. With digital phone systems, things get more complicated. On one side, Jose David will deliver talk here tomorrow to prove that this is a very delicate issue, a tough issue. And on the other hand, mobile phones are not telephones as such. They are now computers themselves, and they're susceptible to be installed or set up any kind of malware or software that can monitorize, do espionage on our emails, calls, and whatsoever. When VoIP phone systems eruption in the market works and function on the internet. Any devices connected on the internet is capable of monitoring calls. We don't require now a high investment in technology for us to do and make wiretapping. Any device connected on the internet can do wiretapping. There are some sniffers designed to capture conversations and communications on VoIP. They are able to decode any kind of codec, audio codec and video codec as well. Therefore, as I said before, we are not risking being randomly or intentionally listened by somebody else, but also governments want to control everything. The governments use platforms to monitorize all of our conversations whatsoever. If we go through the different espionage systems, undoubtedly Echelon will be very familiar to all of you. Echelon is a system created in the 70s and used by the American National Security Agency. This system is capable of capture big amount of information and uses artificial intelligence techniques in order for them to look for data. Theoretically speaking, it's used to do espionage on phone calls, faxes, and emails considered to be enemies. But in the real life, everybody can be the target. For instance, anti-globalization movements, ecological people, ecologists, journalists, everybody having a critical thought that can destabilize or unstable. And the American government is an enemy. In the 90s, new systems appear in the market, new generations of espionage systems. In 1990, we found the Ether-P, which is a system running through Windows 2000, created by the Hyper Group company. Ether-P is now a commercial software. In 1997, Omnivore appears, the second generation of system. Omnivore requires set up on ICP, and Omnivore monitors emails coming from a precise user. 2 years later, Dragon Wu or Carnivore in 1999 appears and is launched, similar to Omnivore. It must be set up on OICP, but unlike Omnivore, Dragon Wu or Carnivore can monitorize all the traffic of one single user, not only their emails. In fact, Dragon Wu consists of 3 parts. Carnivore, which is a sniffer which captures information. Bacteria, which turns all these data captures in coherent data, and Kumina, which analyzes the obtained data. I said that Echelon is used by the NSA, but Dragon is used by the FBI. Dragonware has triggered and provoked many controversies due to their many failures because they did espionage on the wrong person and by uses without the judicial injunction. A lot of mess around this issue. So the FBI, through the Patriot Act, determined that FBI can espionage everybody without fundamental suspicions. Another important espionage system used by NSA is the Narun Sin site created by Naris company. The Narun Sin site can monitorize all the traffic circulating through one segment of the network. It's capable of captures 10 billion bits per second. And it can also reconstruct all websites accessed by one user or emails, attachment. It can also able to reconstruct VoIP conversations. In 1995, Airfopol is launched. It's a European-based system created in Brussels due to the great need of word tapes from the European policemen. Echelon in the 70s, Airfopol in the 90s. Infopol is a system based in and created in Brussels with the capacity of accessing in real-time conversations and monitorize users and take and capture data from the people intervening in the conversation, the phone conversation. Asementi is a project which is now being developed, created by the French, Italian, and Spanish Ministries of Defense. It tends to be an intelligent system learning on its own without a lot of staff intervening to be kept and maintained. Asementi is a system capable of recognizing phrases with precise meaning, not only analyzes words which can trigger and go off the alarms. Asementi will be the substitute of Carnival. Who doesn't know Citel? Citel is a very well-known system by everybody. Citel is a Spain system created by the Ministry of Interior in Spain, used by the Civil Guard, the police, and the intelligence in Spain, created in 2000 by the Aznar government. Citel cost around 10 million euros because it was not launched because it wasn't the legal framework to be implemented. In 2004, Zapatero's government launched it to combat the organized crime. If you are able to monitorize the conversations of any users and to identify their users of geographical location, contracts, everything, and so on. Citel was published in 2001. One of the most striking operations was the one against Anonymous and spam. Who doesn't know Prism? Prism, everybody knows Prism. Prism appears was filtered by Edward Snowden last year. It's a high secret project in the States used by the NSA, in which great companies such as Facebook, Microsoft, Yahoo, Apple collaborate in their creation. Supposedly, the one big company reluctant to collaborate is Twitter. How does Prism work? It's very simple. All these big companies I mentioned before create a backdoor in their system or a backdoor access for the American government to go in whenever they want to, really at any moment, to check all data. Companies such as Facebook and Google have created a specific platform to make the whole accessing process agile. When the existence of the Prism project was launched and revealed, all companies denied participating in this project because it has bad repercussions in their clients. Microsoft says, okay, what is prison all about? I don't have an idea. I don't participate in any high secret project. I don't sell data from any user, only by an injection from the high courts. Is it possible to establish a commission on VIP in a secure way? Everybody is aware that not voice or email is possibly done securely. Oh, what else? What else? What doesn't matter that accessing my Facebook and my emails from outside? According to Mr. Obama, if you want security, you have to sacrifice your privacy. What solutions can we find in the market to establish communications in a more secure way? We find several solutions, both hardware and software. As a hardware solution, perhaps the most known for all of you is cryptophone. Cryptophone offers us different types of terminals, and it gives us cipher codes from endpoint to endpoint. The problems with cryptophone is that every terminal costs around 1,500 euros, and we need a terminal per person. We have to call somebody having the same handset, the same phone set, so nobody can pay it, or very few people can pay this high price. Software solutions now, one of the most well-known by everybody and with working a long time, is Z-Phone, founded by Phil Zimmerman. Everybody knows who Phil Zimmerman, which is the author of PTP. Based upon VoIP technology, it uses ZRTP for communication. ZRTP is a protocol created by Phil Zimmerman and is on multi-platform. But it has some inconvenience. It has been enacted for the last 3 years. Undoubtedly, the solution that everybody must know, who of you doesn't ever use the red phone? Only Roman. Red phone is supposed to be the well-known solution. Red phone is a project by Moxie Marnspike. The RS3 is made use by many of you. It's based upon a VIP technology and use ZRTP for the communication, but some hints and some inconveniences and flaws. As such, we have to register our phone number in the system. It requires validation through SMS. I don't like it. Secondly, it only runs on Android system with their own device. Sorry, I correct myself. A Moxie application, and it's only available in such undetermined countries. Therefore, red phone, theoretically speaking, is not going to be able to access our communications. We won't access our passwords and keys, but red phone will know our phone number, our geographical location, how long the duration of our conversation was, and so on. This is the scheme as how red phone works. Red phone uses two servers based upon the Moxie company. The master server is used for signaling, and the other server is used for communications. Later on, I will tell you why we need a relay server. Another solution, well known by everybody, is the Circle. Circle is a pay-per-go service. Silent Circle offers us cipher services for sending documents, video, images. Is oriented to 3 kinds of entities with different prices and benchmarking, particularly individuals, companies, and governments. These companies are getting a lot of pressure by governments, especially after the prison issue. I don't know if you know the Babid. Babid is an email service encrypted, used by Edward Snowden. Evidently, after the prison was revealed, this finished. Silent Circle is now informing through some press release that they have to stop giving encrypted email service because they consider it to be insecure and can't give complete privacy to the user. So the rest of the services, I don't know how long they will last. Skype allows us to encrypt our communications. So, but pay attention, Microsoft is collaborating with the Prism project. Do you think that WhatsApp is secure? Open question to all of you. Okay, but WhatsApp is owned by Facebook at the moment, which is collaborative with the Prism project as well. So we are fucked up, we are screwed up. So what can we do? What can we do? We have thought that the only possible thing for us to be done to have more security in our communication is to create, to develop our own system where there aren't third parties, where we control everything. We have to create our own communication systems. That's the point. Now I will give the floor to Víctor, who will tell us about this is working.
Ahora, ¿sí? ¿Se me oye? Bueno, vamos a intentar...
Now let's see the guts of what's the project about. The implementation of the project and the system, it has been done in my very loved Avian with some setup systems. We have used Camellia, which is the precious SIP system, and Seva for signaling. My company, Sitwise, is supporting us in the media relay. Why should we use media relay to avoid some trouble? In this world of IP4, we have many devices behind private networks, so we have to cope with it. And we need to use the systems or perhaps others. When they implemented the PV6, we'll be living in a better world and we'll stop using these things, these nuts. Other projects use this because there is no other possible way for us to offer a good service. What measures we have used to increase our security in our project? We have used TLS for us to encrypt and cipher the signaling, and then we had forced using the protocol SRTP in the media. I want to indicate that the SRTP media are controlled by clients, by the devices. We, as a server, we have created a filter that obliges that once the session starts, this protocol SRTP has to be used because clients' devices indicate what codecs can manage and what protocols have to be used. Let's move on to the guts, to the nitty-gritty part of the SIP. Who of you know something about SIP SIP? SIP is the protocol to create, keep, and cancel sessions in general speaking. You can use SIP for one single connections, endpoint to endpoint connections, one single point to many points. You can transport video, instant messaging, video games, emails, whatever. I want to underline that the protocol VoIP communication has two phases. The first one is to establish the signaling. Clients generate the media and they communicate with the media. The signaling phase 1 can use different transpose, TCP, UDP, or SCTP. Normally speaking, until very recent times, many used UDP, but now with the usage or the use of mobile devices, we are using more and more TCP and STCP to encrypt. Sorry, we use TLS to encrypt it, the signaling. We use a syntax similar to HTTP with headers, bodies, following this pattern, request response. If we don't get a response, we send the request again. We also use the authentication digest, AUTH digest, authorization digest is also used to validate the user. There is a very few messages registered to say, okay, I'm here on this port. This is my IP invite when I'm going to start a session. I'm going to modify something. I'm going to modify the configuration of the session or cancel when I'm going to cancel. This is a typical case scenario for register. You send a register, somebody tell you, okay, firstly, you have to authenticate yourself. You send a register request and they say, this is the main idea. Request response. This is what you do if you get on the wire, if you log in, and the so-called would not be encrypted. You'd be able to see the headers. You can see who makes the calls, the call identifier, the nonsense, the ream, many. It's not secure at all. But this is what you can see if you encrypted the whole stuff. You can't understand nothing because this is like written in Chinese. Let's move on to the media session. Media session phase 2 is a different world. In the middle, we can use several protocols. These are the more common ones. RTP, real-time protocol, one thing. All these use UDP because it's real-time. We use a transport as quick as possible. We aren't concerned about the whole information is coming as a whole. We are interested in the fact that information has to arrive on time. I'm interested in what you are speaking right now, UDP. You can see the RFC are very interested to be read for tonight to be read by you. RTP encrypted. I'll talk about this later on, and ZRTP I mentioned before. Now SRTP. I won't go into details about cryptography because you will kill me. SRTP is is cipher, is encrypted. Supports the algorithm ZRTP, RFC, our friend Phil gave us the grandiose, magnificent previous protocol, and now he's giving us this protocol. Thank you. We are establishing the keys, the passwords created by Phil Zimmerman. No, the last verification that nobody is listening to us is done by the SAS. The two devices show you a stream, and theoretically speaking, you should be able to tell your the caller, I'm seeing this guy, and the other guy, I'm seeing this guy on my side, and this means that we are being listened to by the national security agencies in the state. So, but now let's move on to our project. You can find this project in this URL in SCircle. You can log in freely. You can make phone. You can make calls for free among users. Let's now detail the features. The signaling in our project is done by TLS. Communications are forced always through SRTP. The communications are ordered by the user, but if the user does not establish that it wants to use an SRTP encrypted communication, this user won't be able to speak. So, if you are using this system, this means you are always encrypted. You're always encrypted. Passwords are created randomly. They are robust passwords, and the most important thing, you don't need a phone. You don't need a phone number because on voice IP, you don't need a phone number. You can only call this guy or the other guy, and we have integrated an attack detection systems through scanners, and you can use every kind of handsets, devices with supported on TLS and SRTPS. As Victor said before, the service is very simple. It's a Camellia plus a media proxy to manage the whole media. This project has been done with free software. No personal data are stored, no conversations are stored, no monetization at all, and it's totally for free. In fact, with the application simple from Android, you have an assistant where you only have to choose the secure call, and you have to type in the user and the password. The securitization data are by default. It's this simple, super simple. How does this project work? It's very simple as well. We have the terminals are registered by using TLS in the system. When a terminal wants to make a phone call, it sends an invite. The server sends it back to the terminal, and the audio session starts on voice on IP. It's a channel of communication where the server acts as a relay to manage the NAT problems. Let's now perform a demo. Is anybody here wanting to make a phone? Well, with WhatsApp, WhatsApp allows us to reproduce captures RTP. Let's see what. Let's reproduce and let's see what can we hear and listen. An oblige volunteer on stage, please. Now I'm going to capture. Sorry, wait a moment.
Ya, estoy en ello. Joder, macho.
We're sorry for this inconvenience. Victor, please. Wait a moment, please.
Ampliado y no me acuerdo cómo se hacía ahora esto más pequeño. ¿Para? Coño, joder.
¿Más pequeño?
Sí, no, porque he ampliado la pantalla con el zoom.
Cambia el eso.
Bueno, a ver, ¿qué se ha hecho? No, tío, eso es.
No, es perfecto ese tiempo, tranquilo, ¿vale? En las preferencias, ¿por qué se te ha enganchado lo del zoom?
No,
¿Eso
porque...
lo has creado tú? Sí, es con el ratón, ¿qué quieres quitar?
Experiencing some technical problems. We're sorry for this inconvenience. Thank you.
Sí, accesibilidad, acceso universal. Ah, ratón, vale. Vale, perfecto.
No, pero ya...
Tú dime exactamente qué es lo que quieres hacer. Quitar.
No, tío. En la puta, tío.
Bien, bien, vas perfecto.
Sí, pero...
¿Tú qué solo
Aquí,
quieres quitar
tío.
este
Ya
efecto
está, ya
zoom.
está, ya está, ya está.
Ya está, vale,
Ok.
guay.
Tío, no tengo conexión a internet.
Está para descolgar bien, ¿no? Esto que lo veo
Tío.
aquí.
A ver, un momentito, problema técnico que me he quedado sin internet.
¿Qué punto haces ahí,
Vale.
Okie dokie. So let's start again. Okay, so after making the capture, first the capture, now let's make the phone call. Hello? Is there some coverage failure on the go? Oh, I didn't register myself. What's the point? Once again, let's repeat. Now is it it's calling, it's calling, it's calling me, it's ringing. Who's this? Who's this? The people seem to be speaking on the phone, but we can't hear in the English interpreting booth what it's saying. So, they finished the phone conversation. We have captured the phone communication you may have heard, but not here in the English booth. And I'm going to copy it onto my machine. I'm going to open it with the website. Like I said, with the website we can reproduce communications, RTP, captured communications. We analyze the package. Player, the code. This would be all the communications RTP reconstructed, and what we are going to hear if we do a man in the middle and we monitorize the conversation. This is what we can hear. Nothing at all. No words. You can't hear. We cannot hear too much. There is some blur sound in the background. Is it cool or not? Who doubt it? Who of you will use in this project, being such a difficult one and hard-working project? Oh, most of you. It's cool. Do you really think you are going to use it? Do you think it's really secure? Are you really sure is that secure? What can we do? Here we go. I uploaded on the website for you to have it clear that the latest phone call made. Let's play it. Now you. This is it. I'm sorry because we can't hear this phone call in the English interpreting booth. This is the latest phone call. We have done a man in the middle, and everything was encrypted, but we have been able to record this call. What happened? It's very simple. As I said before, we registered in the server through TLS, everything encrypted. Can you hear me? The register is done in an encrypted way, but we use a second server where we duplicate this register. When call request arrives, the proxy arrives, we duplicate the call request, and finally, in the very end, with the audio session, before we establish one single communication channel, the proxy acted as a relay, and now, what we do now? We send the traffic to the other server, and we establish two communication channels in such a way that we find one encrypted channel from the, and vice versa, from the server to the phone and vice versa, and the server sees the whole communication and can record this audio in a file. Like I said, in the very first case, we use only a relay. We will have one encrypted channel. The only way for somebody to listen to this conversation is by doing a man in the middle and changing certifications, but not capturing the traffic. In the second case, we are still having a secure system, let's put it in brackets, where we establish a communication with the server in an encrypted way from a terminal, but we duplicate this communication in such a way that everything is in the server. That's why the conclusion is like this. We are not able to be 100% sure and secure about the security of our communications. That's why we have decided to put our system in a virtual machine for you to download it and have your own secure system. You can play around and mess around with this system and call everybody and whatever you like it to do. Now we can say, it's really, really cool. Victor is going to explain to us how the virtual machine works, how we can run this virtual machine. The virtual machine will be available in this URL. You can see the commands you need to use. You need to add the user to these groups, otherwise it won't work or run. That's it. This virtual machine has a README. You have to change some pair of IPs. You have to tell your local IP to the server, and the virtual machine can be also used because in a lab there are no complications. Everything is private. You can use the devices and you can do how many testing as you like. But you want to use a virtual machine to use the devices on the internet, you have to tell the private and public IP who has to be published. These are the ports that you have to resend, and that's it. You have to forward this port. We don't advise to use this virtual machine for a production service. Taking the virtual machine and production service, you only have to see the settings, the configurations, and moving around and just play. If somebody wants to set up this virtual machine, can contact us with no problem. We are cheap. We are inexpensive. I said contact, not hire. As a funny thing, we started doing all of these 7th to 8th months ago in July last year, and we haven't published the service, we haven't launched this service anywhere. We have opened the register the last day. Nonetheless, for you to see how many scanners and little shits moving around the internet, because this machine is connected to the internet, we have been scanned more than 2,000 times. If we order and listed the countries, the very first who scanned us is unknown. The ones who are hitting us a lot are Germans, North Americans. And if we list it by IPs, or as heavy-going people scanning us, why am I saying heavy-going, boring? Because when I do a scam, we do a drop, and we block several minutes. How is it possible that a single guy can scan us 75 times without having one single response from us? Now my final remarks. During this talk, we have tried to explain to you that you cannot trust any system, no matter how good apparently is this system. You always depend on a third party. You only have to check the service provider who is offering you. And regarding the red phone, it was funny that many of you didn't use a red phone. This guy has to be an incredible person, but the Moxie service on red phone is very similar to ours. It uses a relay server. The only difference to be made is that we use ZRTP, unlike the others that use SRTP, where you have a validation of the key. My phone said I'm putting in this. I'm on a secure channel, but we have to remember and bear in mind that we're using software by Moxie. That's true. They are the owners. They can deviate the traffic to another area. We are putting our confidence on this third party. That's it. This is our conference. Thank you all for your attendance and attention.
¿Preguntas?
Here's a round of questions. Raise your hands, those of you who want to pose the questions. Thank you. Hello. I want to ask you why simply you didn't use ZRTP. I just explained it to you. I didn't understand. ZRTP is a protocol. If it's well set up, it will work. But if you take a device, it doesn't support any kind of device. If you call somebody which is not correctly set up, the ZRTP disappears and the conversation is not encrypted. The secure way is like Moxie. My software is like this. We have tested ZRTP among us with a library existing in Zetaphone for Asterix. We have tested, we have established two channels as we done with the RSTP. Evidently, they get one word and I get a different word because there are two different channels, but I have a proprietary software, a software made by myself. ZTP forced in ZTP with one single channel. We cannot force ZRTP. ZRTP cannot be forced. No, it's controlled by the clients, not by the server. Sorry, but which force is set and it works properly. There are 15-minute configuration going on. You can configure it. Yes, you can do it. You can configure the RTP. Thank you. That's it. That's all. Any more questions, please? Raise your hands. Free switch is a PBX. Hello. This is not a question. This is some comments. By using these systems, you can turn into a more clear target. By using these systems in which nobody can intercept, can you turn into a more clear target for those who are spying on you? If I were a government, perhaps, but if I want to talk with my buddy and I don't want to be listened by anybody, it depends on what you want to set up and mount. As you said before, there had been 2,000 scanning process. If somebody's interested in following the thread, but we aren't scam because when you use mount and ensemble a machine on the internet without updates, everybody's going to burst it out. It's a fact. Here with the ZIT vicious, they are scanning ranges randomly without giving her any kind of responses. Imagine if I'm giving that guy a response. One question. If I understood properly, I understood 72 devices mounted and set up. As I said, if you create a span to access to calls on landline phones. No, sorry, I can't understand your question. If you create a gateway after an analogical phone, is what you are telling me? It would be the same case. You would be connecting the gateway with their IP the address. This is a peer. This is a user. So from the gateway into the wire inside the house is a different story. Thank you. Anyways, as following your question, evidently if you control this topic, you can make it secure. But we're talking about a service you want to offer to many more people. Moxie have done this software for you not to have a great bulk of information. There are other simple accesses. They have given us the assistant. Can you force ZRTP? If I force you ZRTP, every account will go through as RTP, and it's not that simple. You have to look and search new solutions if you want to openly and massively offer to many people. Hello. I have a question. I'm here. If you have a stone server different from yours, managing the lattes certified by the community, will you able to solve the fact that you are sniffing on ZRTP, but I don't need you to manage the NAT? Hello again. I can't see you on the right. My congratulations on your talk. I have a little conceptual question. You only register the NIF of the user, the identity number of the user. How do you relate the ID number of the user in the register? This is done in the register. When you activate the device sends a register. This is the user. I'm on this IP. I'm listening on this port. Period. So the SIP is also registered temporarily in memory. There is a table of users IP, but this list is not stored. It's only in memory. Thank you. One last question, please. We're out of time. Please use a microphone. It's very important for the interpreters that the audience use the microphone. Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much. Fabulous talk. If you put this into production, people start connecting. How long? We start feeling the very first threats from governments, because Babid shut down due to governmental pressures. They don't. The Patriot Act from the States told them to liberate, free this data, so they decided to stop the company. After showing the phone number, I don't think anybody is going to use this system. Our aim is not to sell anything, not to offer you a system. We only want to give you some simple tool that requires some configuration. We give you the machine with the configuration. If you want it on a great scale, you have to use a hosting. You have to set it up with Camellia SQL and media proxy. And that's it, period. You copy the configuration file and start working. It's only this. Our purpose is that you can only play around a little bit. If everybody creates a system to speak with somebody, the system is going to be shut down. If you create a great scale system, governments will be after you. So this is it. Thank you very much for your attention and assistance.